like random noise
Yeah.
from everywhere, and that's fine.
People.
So okay, so we have just had a discussion about the fact that I'm mispronouncing your business name.
Yes.
So, Kirsty, you run a company called Charcot.
Yes.
Do you want to tell me a wee bit about what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I have my surface pattern design label, Charcot, and it's all inspired by the neurological condition multiple sclerosis. I have MS, so to raise awareness, I use my MRI scans and the visible lesion shapes, that's the damage caused by MS, to design prints and patterns to raise awareness in a more exciting and creative way.
Astonishing. And the range of products at the other end of that process then?
Yes, so, well, print you can pretty much put on anything,
Yeah.
but I've got silk scarves, screen prints, some jewellery as well. Trying to think what else, and stationery, sketchbooks, cards. I love all that.
So, and we've already just discussed the fact that, you know, making is not my sector. So, from a kind of genuine place of not knowing as much about it as you do, like, what's the criteria for success in either in your sector or for your business? I think sometimes as well, just because people are making or doing something that superficially looks the same doesn't always mean that they have the same criteria for going, that's how I know that it succeeds. Is there a baseline? Is it like...
Well, I'm still trying to work that out for myself a little bit, actually. But I'm just trying to get my work out there and raise as much awareness as possible. So it's like my creative business also goes on to the side of a charity almost, because I support the MS Society. And donate a percentage of profits to them as well to help them fund their research. So it's a bit of both, and just if people want my work, I feel that's fantastic. And even when they hear my story and appreciate it, that again is like, yes, I'm doing something right. So
you were telling me there was somebody just this weekend or just recently that a guy bought one of the squares.
He bought a pocket square this weekend, and it was all because once I told him the story and what it was all about, he said, oh my God, that I can totally relate to that. I had a really serious brain injury, so this is amazing. And I told him he needs to get his scans and send them to me, and I'll make him a whole range of pocket squares. He got very excited.
Which has got to be the most bespoke thing ever. I mean, I think that's the thing. I know that you and I have spoken on a kind of regular basis over quite a long time. You know, it's very spread out, but over quite a long time. And I think maybe the first time I heard you talk about your work was during Starter for Six.
Yes.
And you already had that narrative, like that was where it came from. And it was amazing how much it differentiated you from what everyone else was doing, because that kind of story was rock solid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we've got a thing where obviously there are products out for sale then.
Yes.
But there is also a thing about relationship with the people who are buying things and development of your same pattern can go on anything. So I presume that's just a constant rolling question.
Yeah, I always try to like rein it in, but then I'm like, too many ideas.
This is something that's coming up actually in the interviews, is that makers kind of see them, they have this potential to make any range of things that they want to. So narrowing it down to a specific set of, we are making this now and selling this now, is actually like quite a big part of the process. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. So then you also have engagement with charities who specifically deal with this issue, and presumably your set of products is a really unusual. You have a colouring book, don't you, as well?
Yeah, well, developing a colouring book. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Which that's 2019, hopefully.
So I'm going to ask you about 2019 a little bit. What are, whether it's for you or whether it's for, you know, those you see around you, you know, often when people graduate college, like your cohort tells you what's normal, is like, is there a standard set of barriers? Is there like a standard set of things where you're like, okay, one of the things we have to deal with in this, like, is this or that or the next thing?
Well, I think mainly at the start anyway, or even ongoing, is money. Right. That can be, I know people are like, oh, you just need to be passionate and strive for it, but that is hard. But then when you get appreciation from people that want to commission or collaborate with you, that's just amazing. So that so it kind of gives you a bit more confidence and like, yeah, I can do this. So you'll work your way around.
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
But you
that
do have
sense.
that thing of, and I say this as a theatre maker, where I need people in the room, and that's kind of all I need. Like, people are expensive, but you know, that's still not. It's still not the process that you go through, because inherently some of what you do does have a lot of upfront costs, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like putting it out to make the products, even just my time, and then getting it into shops, like they take some money, and it's just yes, it feels like I'm always paying out, but it will come back. It will.
Tell me a little bit more about like how all this came about. Like, you know, let's look at the kind of the story of the business,
okay,
if you like.
Yeah.
And in a bit, I'm going to ask you a bit about your kind of engagement with cultural enterprise. But you know, you obviously, let's say you struck me as very clear-sighted when I met you initially.
Yeah.
But you've been on quite a journey, you know, with all sorts of things. Just tell me a bit about that.
Okay, so I was studying jewellery and metal design at Duncan & Johnston in Dundee, and I was in my third year, and I became a little bit tired quite a bit, and then I couldn't really see out of my left eye until I couldn't see out of it at all, and then next thing I knew, I was in hospital. So didn't know what was going on. They did mention MS, but they thought it was something else, like, oh, it's fine. And then I recovered from that, and then a few months later, I think the next year, or 6 months later anyway, I was diagnosed with MS while studying. So I was just like,
you were still at college?
Yeah, and in my third year, so it's getting exciting to lead up to graduation and everything. So that hit me quite hard, but I thought, no, it's fine, I'll get on, I feel fine now, it's okay, I won't concentrate. And then Mike Press, I'm going to drop him in it. He convinced me, or told me I should take a year out, which I was like, no, I don't want to, because it was the year the degree show was at the Vision Building, so that was really exciting, and I wanted to graduate with my friends. But I took the year out, and it was actually the best thing I ever did, because I came to terms with MS, and also learned that, like, I didn't know much about it when I was diagnosed. I didn't know anything about it, actually. But I learned that a whole lot of people really don't understand it, don't know what it is. And I was like, right, when I go back to uni, I'm going to use it as the inspiration for my work. And I did. My degree show inspired by it all, and what I'd experienced, and it had such a good response, and it got everybody openly talking about MS, which was tricky, because at first I was even embarrassed to tell people. But I was like, oh, that's good. I need to continue using this as my inspiration.
Okay. Yeah. And then, so through graduation, I mean, obviously what I'm immediately thinking is that, I mean, I'm catching you in December.
Yes.
I'm talking to Steph Liddell later today. The Instagram for every maker that I know, you know, designer and maker that I know at the moment is stamped out with like 20-hour days and events and things, is that running your own business is quite demanding. Yes. So there's obviously a juggle there. But also that you can't rely on the story without a range of things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they bring you different things, that the story and the products perhaps bring you different people, maybe?
Yeah. Like, it's hard, because I see my work as taking MS to different audiences that wouldn't necessarily have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
But then also it's taking design to people maybe with MS that wouldn't be interested in design.
Yeah. Okay.
So yes. God, I've never really thought about it like that.
But you do, you do a great job of translation across. Yeah. And the work itself, so because there will be eventually photographs, but some people can listen on this podcast, is that I'm going to say that there's not, you know, I see people's work coming in all the time. And I have trained myself not to purchase things from clients, because it's important to I wouldn't survive.
No, you need to stop doing that.
Kirsty's work is gorgeous. Like, there is a type of confidence and opulence to it that is, you know, genuinely arresting. Whether that's about your, you know, I know when I met you initially, there was like laser cut jewellery that was happening, the scarves, and, you know, like you were working with silk and stuff, and the emphasis on quality was also very important. So, you know, like, you've worked with the V&A at one point, so tell me a bit about how that kind of stuff comes about, because that's kind of, I hear about you a lot.
Yeah.
Kirsty.
Yay! No, that's what surprised me. Even at like the Christmas markets this year, people are like, "Oh, I've read about you. Oh, I've listened to this about you." I'm like, people actually follow me and know what I'm doing. Well, yeah. So it was like after graduation, I ran off to London to become famous and intern.
Okay.
That never happened.
Okay.
Ended up working in a clothes shop full time until I was an assistant manager. I was like, do not go there to do this.
Okay.
But always in the back of my head was like, I need to use MS for my creative work. So I ran back up to Scotland and was part of Vanilla Ink. And I was going to have my own jewellery business, design it.
I don't know if I knew that. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
okay.
sorry. Do you want me to go back?
Yeah. No, that's fine. I just didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah. Because when I was down in London, Vanilla Ink just opened. I was like, oh my God, that is amazing. I wish I could do it. And then the next year I applied. And Kate wouldn't tell me if I was in or not. So I had to like move everything up to Scotland just on the hope that I got in. But and also I, luckily enough, thanks to my medication, I hadn't had any more relapses or anything, so no new symptoms. But I was like, what am I going to design my work from? So that's when I went back and looked at my MRI scans and decided to use the lesion shapes.
Right.
And while I was at Vanilla Ink, all the designs I was making, I was like, these work better as print.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And I went to her and was like, can I make a like surface pattern design label instead? She's like, yeah, as long as you come out with a business.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I did that, and then that just had a great response again. And also I'd heard about Starter for Six, and I wasn't sure if I had a good business idea or whatever, but I was like, I'm going to apply anyway. And I did, and I got the interview, which was just like, wow. And then I got into it, which, whoa, that just brought my confidence way up. I thought, okay, I maybe do have a business idea.
So tell me, so I'm going to,
sorry,
not at all. I was going to ask about Starter for Six. You know, I met you towards the end of Starter for Six. And I now realise that you were in a cohort where I was working with Vanilla Ink, but I wasn't working with you. You know, I was working with Kate. So, you know, one of the reasons that I'm interviewing people is because I think it's sometimes difficult to give a clear idea under the hood of what it's like engaging with cultural enterprise, because there are so many different ways and so many, like, such a range of people that we get involved with and that we support. And to me, the only way to really do that is to really talk about what people's experiences kind of were. Yeah. Do you know? So just kind of, you know, chart what the Starter for Six was a dedicated program that we were running a few years ago, which it was about taking a business from one level to the other, wasn't it? It was very much about kind of businesses. Right. Okay, so that's right. So if there was something innovative about what you were doing, which obviously for you there was. So what was the experience of that like?
It was
amazing.
A lot
of homework.
Yes. Oh yeah, there was a lot of homework, and I was surrounded by like all the businesses that were in it were all totally different and not necessarily creative. So that was the first time I'd ever met other people that were setting up businesses that didn't really work with creative people. So I was like, oh my God. And it was quite daunting because I was like, these are proper business people. Like, I make pretty things.
Right, okay.
But it was amazing. Like all the workshops we had and everything, it was brilliant. Like it gave me the first look at proper side of the proper, give me 1 second. The proper business side of things, because I never really looked into that, because I always thought, I make people buy, that'll be it, but there's so much more to it than that.
And you spoke very well about what you did. I came in to get involved in the
when we had to
money at the end, don't you?
Yes.
And you start by everybody starts by doing a short pitch in front of me, and you were very solid on what you were already very clear on what you do. And I used to think it was interesting that people that got to the end of Starter for Six, like because they knew that there was a point where they'd have to get up and speak about this. Yeah. Like it kind of sharpened their focus. I mean, people do, they go, oh, they're talking in public, right? But you did that very well. You know, so presumably, did you pitch? Did you get?
Yes.
Did you get funded?
Yes, I did. Right, so that was just like,
whoa,
my goodness. So that was incredible, and it allowed me to do so much. Like I wanted to go and see London Design Week and everything, just to see what was out there, which I did. I even got trademark registered and everything, so that, because that's something that I would not have been able to do without the help from Starter for Six. And yeah, it just kind of got me noticed again, not just for, oh, that's the girl that designs from MS and stuff. So that was really good. And that's how the V&A, I think, noticed me. And yeah, and they just got talking to me. And then Cultural Dundee or Creative Dundee, that's it, noticed me as well. And then the next thing I know, 2 weeks later, I'm being flown on over to China to represent Dundee City of Design at Shenzhen's first ever Design Week, which was incredible.
Really?
Yes, and that's where I did my first talk to public as well. They were all Chinese, but there was a translator.
Excellent.
But yeah, and then that's when I was like, wow. And while I was out there, the V&A announced me as their first design champion.
Yes.
So it's just like, everything was just going 100 miles an hour, but very exciting. So I was like, yeah, hey, I'm doing this.
and there's just you in the business. In terms of,
if my parents see this, I'm like, no. No, my mum and dad help a lot. Like, they're really good. Like, with my MS mind, sometimes I can lose focus easily and just like think, oh no, I'm going to do this, I'll do this, and forget about things I should really be doing. But they kind of keep me in line, or like, you should do this, or you should contact these people. So kind of a family business, but really me.
But focused on you. And we were just talking about the fact that obviously because of what you make, you obviously need sort of close relationships with manufacturers who work to quality and things. So there's a lot of people putting things in. It's just like you're the focus of how that all then rolls and works. So we then caught up with each other again after. So what was that like on the job? Where were you roughly at that point then? What was
because after Starter for Six, so I was building up my business more and things, and just lots of social media and making more products and trying to get it out there. But I was like, it kind of like, because I kept on seeing things for creative businesses like help. I'm like, no, I've done all that. I know all this. I shouldn't need any more help. But then I was like, maybe if I just talk to them, that would really help. And it did. It just, like, speaking with you just the other month, it just reminded me of how to like figure out what's next for the business and everything, and which really helped, because sometimes it's just like, why is this happening with my business? Why is it not this? And if that makes sense. But
I think that because you're on a job, how long is the journey you've been on, if you like, from graduation out?
Yeah, well, graduated in 2010.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and then Starter for Six was, I think, 2015 to 16.
Okay.
And yeah, like I'd set Charcot up, it says established 2014, because that's when I came up with the idea.
Yes.
But 2017 was only the real year that I started trading and getting out there. So and I went full time. I
think that's the other thing that's important, is that for people to understand is that a business takes as long as it takes to get rolling and to get to a point where it's doing what the person running the business believes it should be doing. And I, you know, you and I have talked about that, because we've talked about balancing time and the idea of like scheduling what you think is a 1 year plan when it's really a 3 year plan. Which loads and loads of people do. But I think it's interesting that you know, there are different stages of success by the sounds of it in that journey. There's like the finding the inspiration, the working out what it is that you're doing, the working out how you work in it, and then that crazy busy year, which is the bit that people are aware of. It's like the bit of the iceberg that's above the water. But there's
you have to keep going.
Stuff that happens.
I know.
So when, I mean, in terms of, let's see, where are we? Like, when you and I were sitting talking about stuff, you were just at a new stage, weren't you? I mean, in some ways, when it came to things like publicity and perception, you absolutely, textbook had done it all right. You know, all of that stuff was there. But there are still practical aspects of, if you're looking at out the front and what that's doing, there's still stuff in the background that's got to get dealt with. So I suppose the question in some ways is, you know, and it's a long-term question, because let's say we've had engagement with for a long time, but you know, like, what do you think you do different as a result of either Starter for Six or Chats with It? Do you know what I mean? Like, is there things where you go, I do that, or I don't do that, or I know this, or I don't know that? You know what I mean?
I think it's just really thinking about where my business would sit well, rather than just throwing it all out everywhere and just be like, why are people not buying? It's fabulous. Why do they not love what I'm doing? My mum thinks that.
Lots of people think that.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm sort of more strategic of where I spend my time and things. And like when last time we met, you were like, you need to think about if you're putting all your energy into this, will it get given back to you and stuff? So I'm trying to work on that a little bit more.
Which is why we're both starting the year with goal planners.
Yes.
You were saying
you've
got goal
I've got goal planner, then I've got the design trust. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
The design trust wall planner, which marks all the markets out and everything. So yeah.
Have you done the dream plan do?
Well, see, this is the thing. I bought it last year.
Yep.
I did one page. So I've got it I'm going to use it this year because there's no dates in it. It does say just in the corner 2018, but I'll just scribble it out. So I'm going to reuse that. Yeah. Because I can't afford to buy another one.
Do you think that these things are more useful because it is you making the strategic decisions? You know, I suppose some of the things that I notice are that quite a lot of the time in sessions, I'm not really giving advice. I'm just someplace for the person to have the meeting with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the time, people who know their business best will often come in and go, I just need to work out what my goals are, and it's easier if I've got you feeding back to me what I'm saying.
Because after that meeting, I was like, oh my God, I hadn't thought about, you're just allowing me to like process things and think about different things and stuff. So it's not like you're there saying, you have to do this now, you have to do that now. It's just like, what do you feel you need to do, and then just kind of mould it. So but it really helps.
I mean, I think the other thing for sector by sector, one of the things that I notice is that, let's say we're catching you in a spare hour, we'll be catching Steph in a spare hour. Like December's a really dumb time for me to be trying to interview people who are making.
I was hoping to still be in bed.
This is a really early interview. Everybody should know that you got up and came across here really early in this interview. But I suppose there's a thing where, because you're kind of changing hats inside the business, like what role you're doing. Yeah. There are, you know, you're saying the design trust have all of the markets marked up. Yeah. Like there is a very definite, sometimes seasonal is a real thing for some businesses.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely next year try and be ahead of the game, really, because as always, time just runs out, and I'm like rush making lots of Christmas stock. It's still very good quality though. Yes, but because Christmas is, I think, for any creative business, is definitely the best time of year. Yeah, because everyone's out and wants to get something different. So but yeah, I'm learning that you need to plan in advance or know what's coming up next and be prepared for it and stuff. Yeah.
And I suppose, like before, we were talking about conversations that you were having with manufacturers. Yeah. Just before we started the interview, and it struck me that the way in which you handled that seemed effortless by comparison to maybe the 8 years ago of where that would have put you at the point where you are in the middle of a very busy season and you need to be negotiating hard with someone where it has an impact on your business. Yeah. And I guess it's that thing of like, I can see that you have like a boss voice that you use for that now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel a little bit more confident.
Yeah. But are you around at the point where when the selling is happening? Are you there in person a lot of the time? For
yes. That? Like these Christmas markets have just reminded me that I love like interacting with the people and just telling them my story and seeing their reactions and just explaining if they've got any questions, and it just helps.
I mean, in other businesses that would be a focus group that would take a long time to organise, but actually you are able to see people's faces when you're engaging with the things that you make as well.
And it's just like a reminder of like, what I'm doing is good. Yeah. Keep going, Kirsty.
But I think that's also an interesting thing, is that people often talk about how they manage their own motivation, because for all that you're saying, it's a family business. You're the bottom line on your own quite a lot in the situation, as are lots of businesses that I talk to, where one person is the bottom line. Do you have strategies to manage that? Do you have strategies to, like, you know, work your way through it, or, you know,
2019 I will.
Yes, because you will have the planner.
Yes.
But is that comes out of that, of knowing that structure will help you?
I think so. Like, I always get so excited. I don't know. It's even if I get a new sketchbook or whatever, I'm just like, oh, I'm going to do this. And then when I open the first page, I'm like, scared to even make a mark on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this year I'm more confident in like going forward and actually planning and doing it, because it needs to be done. If I want the business to run smoothly and stuff, I need to get on it. And
so I was going to ask you what was next for Charcot. So what we're saying is like strategic goals, bit planning.
Yes, I know, definitely time management.
Right.
But also I'm working on a colouring book. Yes, so all the patterns again are made from my lesion shapes, just to raise awareness again, because I thought, oh, that's really relaxing and everything for people with MS or just anybody really, like adult colouring books. But I remember I was at hyperbaric oxygen therapy, so you're locked in a big chamber for an hour, and there was a whole load of other MSers, and I was like, oh, I'll take pages for everyone to do while we're sitting with masks on, because you can't talk, you can't do anything, you're just like stuck. And it showed me that, it reminded me that MS is different for everyone, and some people couldn't even hold a pencil to sign their name in the sign-in sheet, and I was like, I've not thought about that, because I'm still like able-bodied and things, so I was like, I need to make this more accessible to people. And then I started playing about with just digital files and colouring them in with a paint bucket or Photoshop, and I was like, I need to make an app so it's accessible to everyone. So also I want to do that as well. And then I got some new symptoms, which is altered sensations in my fingers, so I was like, if that's not a sign, I'm gonna have to make this happen. So yeah, also developing that as well, so I'm excited about that. So hopefully, just because I'm doing the colouring book and then also the app, hopefully.
Amazing. And if there's, I've asked everybody this, for people who are listening who may be at the very start of this journey, or maybe who are in the middle and at that floundery developmental, do you know that floundery bit? That there's not any advice, a piece of advice that you might give any of them.
Don't try and do it on your own. Like, it's okay, like you can, like some people have, and I applaud them, but like ask for help. Go to Cultural Enterprise office, because you guys know your stuff, and it'll help you just like figure things out a little bit easier, like get there a little bit quicker than just like reading up everything online and maybe scaring yourself a little bit more.
Anything that you look up online that you're not like comparing with other people can be scary enough. That's it.
Just even social media. Yeah. It's just that. Like, how are they doing that? And how do they have that much stock when it costs this much to make?
But I think that's a true thing, isn't it? It's like the other advice is don't psych yourself out. Like, it's so easy to psych yourself out. Looking at other people's social media and looking at, I get psyched out just watching the makers that you guys, but I'm like, look how productive they all are at this point when my brain is closing down in December. You know?
I know, we're just like,
but that's great advice. Well, Kirsty, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And at some point we will come back to you in like another 8 years and see how it's going, if not before.
Yes.
I'm going to check in about the diaries though. I'm going to check in with the goal planners so we can both see if we've done them.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
Cheers.